Hello students, today in this video once again we'll understand one more important topic from module 1, that is determination of pH of a given solution using glass electrode. Okay students, in the previous video we have understood the principle and the construction of glass electrode. Okay, this glass electrode is one of the example for ion selective electrode. So in the glass electrode there will be a sensitive membrane which senses only H plus ion from the solution. So one of the very important use of glass electrode is to determine the pH of the given solution. Okay, in this video students will understand how step by step we are going to explain this concept, that is determination of pH of given solution using glass electrode. Let us understand it. Determination of pH. Okay students, to determine the pH of the given solution, the glass electrode is dipped in a solution whose pH need to be determined. Very obvious step here. If I want to determine the pH of any solution, if I had taken a solution in a beaker, so in that beaker I must dip the glass electrode, right? So then that glass electrode must be connected to pH meter. Then there will be some readings displayed on the pH meter, and ultimately I'll come to know what is the pH of the unknown solution. Okay students, so here things are not so simple. Here only one glass electrode I can't use, because if I'm using only one glass electrode then there will be only one half cell generated, so there must be a cell generated. So next step explains that. Okay, so this glass electrode must be combined with saturated calomel electrode. Okay, so you can see in this figure, see there is pH meter. So to the pH meter, glass electrode and calomel electrode. Assembly of glass electrode and calomel electrode must be dipped in the analyte solution. Now here analyte solution is the is any solution whose pH must be determined. So here along with glass electrode, saturated calomel electrode is also used. So here saturated calomel electrode acts as the reference electrode. So okay, one more important thing. So here by convention always glass electrode will act as cathode. Why? Because in glass electrode ion will be in oxidized state, Na plus, so always it acts as cathode. You must remember that. Okay students, so now this diagram we have already seen in the previous video. So when we are concentrating at the bottom part of the glass electrode, this glass sensitive bulb, so here there you can see here inside the bulb there will be reference solution, which is 0.1 molar HCl solution whose concentration we are considering it as C1. Then in the beaker there will be analyte solution whose concentration will be C2. Inside also there will be H plus ion, outside also there will be H plus ion, but there will be difference in the concentration, because of which, so this is a glass membrane students. So now glass membrane, inside the glass membrane means inner side of the glass membrane experiences one kind of electrode potential, and outside the outer surface of the glass membrane experiences another type of electrode potential. So there will be whatever electrode potential developed outside the surface of the glass membrane is considered as E1, and whatever electrode potential experienced inside the glass membrane is considered as inside surface considered as E2. So the thing is not so simple here. So in the previous all cases there was metal rod dipped in its electrolyte solution, so only one surface was experiencing any kind of concentration. So there was only one type of electrode potential. Here because the membrane experiences two different concentration at a time, so inner surface experiences one kind of electrode potential and outer surface experiences another type. So here there will be E1 and E2. So during the determination step this E1 and E2 will come, so at that time you should not get confused. Okay students, so very first step is to set up the apparatus here. First, what we need to do in a beaker, whatever analyte we must take, then assembly of glass electrode and calomel electrode must be connected to pH meter. Okay, students. So next. Okay. Now, after combining the glass electrode and the calomel electrode, there will be generation of one full cell. Okay. So that cell, how it is represented as this. Okay, as I already told. So a glass electrode acts as cathode. So anode is our calomel electrode. We already know now that calomel electrode can act as both anode as well as cathode, depend upon the nature of the other electrode used. So calomel electrode is anodes are written its representation first. This representation we already know. Calomel electrode Hg liquid bar Hg2Cl2 solid bar Cl minus, then double bar, this is one half cell, then second half cell is bit lengthier here, students. So a known pH solution comes here. After that, the glass electrode, glass membrane bar 0.1 m HCl bar silver chloride electrode. So first anode representation, which is SCE, standard saturated calomel electrode, then our unknown solution, after that glass membrane. Okay, this was cell representation, very important, you must include the cell representation. Okay, now generally we have an equation which gives the EMF. What is that equation? E cell is equals to E cathode minus E anode. But students, here we are being specific. So E cell is equals to EGE minus ESCE. E cathode is our glass electrode, Eg is glass electrode, then ESCE is our saturated calomel electrode. Things are easy till here, till now. Then later it becomes bit lengthier. So if you understand the steps, it is easy for you to combine all the things. So okay, now very important thing, very important, students, here. So now here whatever Eg is there, it is not so simple. Why? Because the glass membrane, the boundary, experiences two different type of electrode potential. I already explained. Then if you remember the construction of glass electrode, the inside there will be one more electrode which is silver chloride electrode. So many factors come here. So for that, this Eg, arriving an expression for Eg is bit lengthier. So we'll understand it one by one. Okay, first very important concept comes here, boundary potential. Now what is this boundary potential? This boundary potential also contributes towards Eg. So here the boundary potential which develops due to exchange of H plus ions with glass membrane is mainly responsible for glass electrode potential Eg. Okay, so now when this glass electrode is dipped in an analyte solution, a potential is developed across the membrane due to exchange of H plus ions. So we already know that now whatever reaction takes place in glass, in between the glass membrane and the analyte solution is the ion exchange reaction. So when that ion exchange reaction takes place, there will be development of one more electrode potential along with our E1 and E2. E1 and E2 combined gives the boundary potential. So that boundary potential will also contribute towards Eg. So Eg equation can be given as Eg is equals to Eb. So Eb is simple boundary potential, we just now understood. Then EAg bar AgCl, second factor. Here EAg bar AgCl is what, students? Is our internal reference electrode which is already inside the glass electrode. Then EASY, one more new thing came here. Now what is this EASY? EASY is nothing but asymmetric potential which is observed when concentration C1 becomes C2. What do we mean by this? Okay, so inside the bulb there will be concentration C1, outside analyte there will be concentration C2. So now continuously there will be ion exchange reaction between glass membrane and H plus, and there comes a point when this reaction, because this reaction is reversible, so there will be a point which is called as equilibrium point. At that point, both the concentrations becomes same. C1 becomes equal to C2. At that point, one more potential we are observing. That potential is nothing but asymmetric potential. So here so many factors, students, contribute towards Eg. So Eg is what? Eb plus E Ag bar AgCl plus EASY. These three combinedly gives the Eg value. Now here we have only notations Eb, EAg bar AgCl plus EASY. Still now we didn't got any concrete equation. So now next step is to arrive a simplified equation for this. Okay, so now let us just understand what is E cell. We already know electrode potential of the cell. Then Eg, electrode potential of the glass electrode. ESCE, electrode potential of calomel electrode. Then Eb is boundary potential. EAg bar AgCl is electrode potential of internal reference electrode. Then EASY, asymmetric potential observed when concentration C1 equals to C2. Okay, next is our simplification. Okay, now what is this boundary potential? Now boundary potential, we just defined boundary potential, what exactly it is. When there will, because of the exchange of H plus ion, there will be a potential developed across the bulb. That potential is called as boundary potential. Now mathematically what exactly it is? Eb is nothing but E1 minus E2, simple. So here Eb is nothing but E1 minus E2. If you still remember the figure 2, in that we understood what was E1 and E2. E1 was potential developed towards the outer wall, and E2 was potential to develop towards the inner wall of the bulb. Okay, students. So next, this is our equation 3. Okay, since now we have to apply Nernst equation. Okay, E1, when we are applying Nernst equation for E1, which is nothing but constant plus 0.0591 log C1. Okay, so towards E1 there will be concentration C1. Okay, so now students, here what is this constant? Now whatever this is E1 and E2, but it is across the same glass membrane, so that E1 naught there must be. What is this one Nernst equation? E is equals to E naught plus 0.0591 upon N log to the base 10 of concentration of metal ion. So here, because here E1 naught didn't come in the picture actually. Why? Because E1 naught is a constant term. It is similar for E1 as well as E2. So E1 is equals to, for simplification purpose, I had written constant plus 0.0591 upon N is 1 here. Why, student? Because H plus ion, H plus 1. So N is equals to 1. So this is our equation for E1, Nernst equation. Then E2, constant plus 0.0591 log of C2 is equation for E2, Nernst equation for E2. Now what I have to do? Simple. E1 and E2 value I need to substitute in the equation number 3. Okay, before that, students, let us understand the notation. E1 is electrode potential of analyte solution. C1 is H plus ion, concentration of analyte solution. E2 is electrode potential of the reference solution. C2 is H plus ion, concentration of the reference solution. Now, when I am substituting the value of E1 and E2 in the equation 3, I am getting a simplified EB value. Okay, so EB is equals to 0.0591 log C1 minus 0.0591 log C2. Okay, I have written this equation directly. One more step with this in the previous step, constant, both the constant terms get cancelled. So whatever variables are there, those terms remain. So that is 0.0591 log C1 minus 0.0591 log C2. Okay. Now this equation can be further simplified. So we already know here N is equals to 1 and C2 is nothing but the concentration of the reference electrode. So but reference electrode concentration will be fixed. Why? Because fixed amount of fixed molar HCl solution will be there inside the bulb whose concentration does not change during the reaction. So we can consider that part as constant. That's entire part 0.0591 log C2. Anyways, 0.0591 is a constant value. Then log of C2, because C2 itself is constant, this entire term becomes constant. Now this EB equation gets simplified further. EB can be written as L plus 0.0591 log C1. So here C1 is the unknown solution concentration, or it is analyte solution concentration. So it remains as it is. But C2 whose concentration is already known, so I can consider it as constant, or it is a constant term. So now EB equation gets simplified. L plus 0.0591 log C1. So now what is this L? For my simplification purpose I had written it as L. L is nothing but minus 0.0591 log C2, which is a constant. So in place of minus 0.0591 log C2, for the simplification purpose I had written L. Okay students, now I have now one simplified EB value. So let us see what else I can do with that. Okay, one more still now I am writing only C1, C1, C1. So what this entire discussion is about, determination of pH. Now pH didn't came in the picture, now it will come. As you can see, what is C1? C1 is nothing but concentration of H plus ion. Okay, so how I can write the EB equation? EB is equals to L plus 0.0591 log concentration of H plus, isn't it? So C1 is equals to nothing but concentration of H plus. I can write it in the symbolical form, concentration square bracket H plus. So I have written here log of H plus. Okay, one more equation I know. What is that equation? pH is equals to minus log of H plus ion concentration. So when I am substituting this value, my EB equation becomes EB is equals to L minus 0.0591 pH. So log of H plus, I had written it as minus log of H plus. So here L plus 0.0591 log of H plus ion concentration becomes EB is equals to L minus 0.0591 pH. So now pH came in the picture. So I have my EG equation, which is nothing but EB plus E AG bar AgCl plus EASY. So which was our equation number 2. So now I am going to substitute this EB value in equation number 2. Substituting EB in equation 2, we get EG is equals to, what is EB value? L minus 0.0591 pH plus EAG bar AgCl plus EASY. Now here electrode potential of silver chloride electrode, or electrode potential at asymmetric electrode potential, both are once again constant. So many constant terms here. So next what I'll do, I'll combine all the constant values in the above equation 6. That is how I'll write. I'll write only one L dash. L dash is equals to L plus EAG bar AgCl plus EASY, because whatever internal reference electrode, silver chloride is there inside the glass electrode, it will also have a constant E value. Then once again asymmetric concentration, asymmetric electrode potential is once again constant. One more L I have. So what I'll do for the simplification purpose, I'll replace all this with only one L dash. So my equation for EG becomes L dash minus 0.0591 pH. Now I have one simplified EG value. Now what I'll do, I'll substitute this EG in equation 1. Therefore, equation 1 becomes E cell is equals to, remember the equation number 1, E cell is equals to EG minus ESCE. So, E cell is equals to L dash minus 0.0591 pH minus ESCE. But students, here ESCE, electrode potential of calomel electrode, once again constant. Why? Because it is a reference electrode, it will be having its fixed electrode potential. So, once again what I'll do, okay, before that I'll just rearrange the equation. pH is equals to I want pH in the equation form, right? So pH is equals to I want. So I'll rearrange the equation and I can write it as pH is equals to L dash minus E SCE minus E cell upon 0.0591, which is equation number 8. So once again, L dash minus E SCE is constant. So I'll combine those two and I'll write as K. So where K is nothing but L dash minus ESCE, which is a constant. So now what pH equation I have? pH is equals to K minus E cell upon 0.0591. But this is not it, students. Why? Because when we are trying to determine pH of any unknown solution, first the pH meter must be calibrated. Okay, so what do we mean by calibration? We must set a range for that pH meter. So how I can do that? I have to first dip the glass electrode, calomel electrode assembly in the buffer solution. Buffer solution is a solution which bears a fixed pH value. Then I have to set the instrument to that pH. Then next step is to dip the electrode assembly in the unknown solution. So when I'm doing that, ultimately I'll be getting the pH value. Otherwise, I may get wrong pH value. So dipping the electrode assembly in buffer solution is must. So to evaluate K value. So constant terms we don't want in our equation. So to evaluate K, the electrode assembly is dipped in the saturated buffer solution and pH meter is calibrated to the pH of the buffer solution. So now simple. What I have to do here? Earlier whatever equation 9 was there, which was pH is equals to K minus E cell upon 0.0591. I have to write it like this. pH B, that is pH of buffer, is equals to K minus E cell of B upon 0.0591. As simple as that. Then same thing, what I have to do? Next I have to dip the electrode assembly in the solution of unknown pH, and pHu is given by same equation once again. pHu is equals to K minus E cell U upon 0.0591. Now I have to eliminate this constant term. So if constant terms are there, then equation will not be accurate. So now last step will give me a accurate equation. So now for that, what I have to do? I have to subtract equation 10 from equation 11. When I am doing that, I am getting the simplified equation, which is nothing but pHu is equals to pHb minus E cell U plus E cell B upon 0.0591. So previously I have directly written here. Otherwise what it was? pHu minus pHb minus of K minus E cell U upon 0.0591, then minus of K minus E cell B upon 0.0591. It was K upon 0.0591 minus K upon 0.0591 gets cancelled. So K term gets cancelled. So whatever remaining is this. So this is nothing but equation for the pH. So the above equation is expression for pH. This is how mathematically we are representing the determination of pH of unknown solution. Otherwise, when we are performing the equation, it is simple. First, we need to connect the glass electrode and calomel electrode to pH meter. Then we need to dip the electrodes in buffer solution and set the pH to the pH to the desired level according to the experiment. Then we need to dip the electrode in unknown solution. Directly the value is displayed in pH meter. But mathematically, when we are trying to discuss this determination of pH concept, so these all steps you must include. So this was it, students. It appears a bit lengthy, but if you follow the steps properly, it is simple. One by one after one, you just have to define the terms, and ultimately you will get the pH expression. So thank you, students. This was it.